AskReddit by deleted. People who were engaged at one point but never got married. What happened? He wasn't participating in the wedding planning at all, and I realized he didn't actually want to get married. There was a lot of pressure from his family and admittedly, me as well. I just wanted a family and to be married and hadn't really paid attention to his reluctance up until that point. It was 3 months before the wedding and I sat down and reviewed our relationship. We were incompatible in several crucial points, even though we loved each other a lot. So I called off the wedding and ended it, and while we were both sad, we were also relieved. This was more than a decade ago, and whenever we run into each other we catch up and there are no hard feelings at all. He's married and a father now and I couldn't be happier for him. This is really lovely to read despite the pain involved. Well done, you two. She died due to seizures 3 AM. She was home alone. She woke up and got the seizure and unfortunately hit her head against a wall. 7 AM. She was supposed to show up at her parents' house to drop off the dog before work. She didn't. 9 AM. Her parents went to check on her. Dog was fine, but she was unresponsive. 9:30 AM. She was declared deceased in the scene. 10 AM. I was at work and I got a call from her father. I lost it right there. It was back on 2012, but still I'm not over it yet. Sorry for your loss. Take care. He cheated before we got married and I found out. I thank the stars every fucking day I didn't marry him. This just happened to me a week ago. We were less than 2 weeks away from our wedding and she was going crazy over the last couple of weeks for some reason. I had no idea why and thought she was just nervous. Until one morning she suddenly confessed that she slept with someone multiple times over a long period when we had a long distance relationship. We cancelled the wedding and I broke up with her. I know it is better like this, but I am freaking gutted. The future we had planned together died and I feel hurt like I never have felt before. We had like 6 miscarriages. At the end of the relationship he said something to me like, "It's just so hard. I look at your face and I feel like I see nothing but 6 dead babies. Can't really come back from that one. I mean, some people can. We couldn't." That is not something I've heard before, my word. I hope you're doing better now. She started hanging out with an old group of high school friends and just changed. She became extremely nasty over wedding plans, telling me we had to have the exact same number of guests on both sides. If I had one more guest than she did, she made me remove someone from my side. I knew if I moved forward it would have ended in divorce, so I just ended it before it got to that. He left me for a coworker he claimed for over a year was like a sister to him. They have a kid now. I have a better boyfriend. Hard to imagine having a worse boyfriend, tbh. The night he proposed he left my house and went straight to his ex's for a catch-up dinner, but slipped and fell and accidentally fucked her. Goddamn those ridiculously polished floorboards for being so slippery. How did things go after? You alright and happier now, I hope? She left me for our young lecturer. Damn. I'm sorry. Cancer took her before we got married. It will be 10 years in December. Hugs if you like hugs. Cancer is just awful. Cheated on me, a lot. Same, just happened to me. We were 10 days away from our wedding and she confessed that she cheated. I am completely gutted. The longer we lived together leading up to the wedding, the more he showed his true colors. One day while I was cooking dinner for us he started screaming at me, like an inch from my face, and called me a "see you next Tuesday," something about it snapped some sense into me. I walked out and never went back. There's a whole thread here about men who become abusive the minute they're engaged or the minute the "I do" is said at the altar. So many women with stories of the first time being hit in their honeymoon. You dodged a bullet getting out beforehand. We're still technically engaged, but we never wanted a wedding. We met way late in life. I'm 50, She's in her mid-40s, no kids, and if we get legally married the gov fucks with her disability assistance, so she is my spouse, my partner, and my soulmate. But we don't feel the need to get married. But I do have a living will just in case. We will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary early next year. Well-known issue in the disability community that those who receive government benefits can't get married or lose that income. I'm glad you're taking care of each other. It was toxic, and a month before we were supposed to get married I broke my foot at an event I was helping. She was there too but just partying. When I told her I probably broke my foot, she said I shouldn't be a little baby and just walk home since the party was over. I couldn't stand on it. She helped me a couple meters forward and then she just pushed me. That night my mother took me to the hospital, and that night I decided all the lies and mental abuse was enough, and ended it. Best decision of my life 3 months ago, and I'm finally getting back to being me. A serious congratulations to you for taking your life and dignity back from an abuser. Turns out she liked vagina as much as I did. Had to do a double take because my husband says that exact thing about his ex lol, but I know for a fact you're not him. Edit to add, it worked out great for both he and I, and his ex and her now wife. I hope it worked out for you too. She had been fighting depression and went to stay with her family a little bit before marriage. But she started having horrible fights with her family and had a mental breakdown 2 months before the wedding and said she wasn't able to handle being a wife or in a relationship and ran. To Be Single and Disappear. To Be Single and Disappear is the book I've been writing for the last 7 years. He decided to recommit to his faith, he's JW, and tried to get me to convert. I refused. He then tried to tell me I couldn't go out with my friends. I went out and he had a temper tantrum that would put my 3-year-old niece to shame. He trashed the house and drove to his parents' house 2 states away. I got all the deposits back that I could. He texted me on what would have been our wedding day to remind me what a mistake I made. I sent him a picture of me and several of my friends that I was told I was not allowed to see having a very fancy sushi dinner with the deposit money. I love happy endings. The Holy Spirit came to him in a dream and told him that he couldn't marry me because I wasn't a virgin. Was he a virgin? She moved home to Germany to care for her dying mother. And by dying mother, she meant some oil sheikh she met in Dubai. Oh geez. How did you find out? His wife called me. I mean, maybe she needs to mind her own businesses. He left me 6 months before the wedding. In his defense, he did pass away and one day I will probably be really angry with him for it. Well, that took a turn. I hope you're doing alright. He had a baby with my friend. Oh shit. I'm married to someone else now, but in 2016 I got engaged and pregnant, in that order. I had a miscarriage and he broke up with me about 5 minutes after I fainted from the blood loss at a family garden party. My family, not his, that he told me to suck it up and go to during it. He started dating my cousin, who he met at the party, about 6 weeks later. They are married now. So sorry for you to have been treated so disdainfully and terribly, and maybe sorry for your cousin, for being such a dupe. Or maybe she sucks, too, and is getting what she deserves. After my dad died, my mom got engaged to another guy. She told me years later that she never intended to marry him, but she was a bit traditional and thought it would make her look better if she were engaged to a guy she was living with. No idea if the guy had the same idea. They broke up 7 years later and I haven't talked to him since. I know 3 different women with long-term boyfriends who will never get married because they will lose their portion of their ex-husband's pension if they do. A month after he proposed, I got pretty sick. Maybe Lyme disease, maybe some random virus, we'll probably never know, and remained pretty sick for almost a year. He didn't cope with it well from the get-go, and 6 months into that basically started acting out in ways to make me end things because he didn't have the balls to. Deleted. Fuck Patrick. All my homies hate Patrick. Fiance died day before Christmas 2009. After that, I just stopped caring about having relationships anymore. I am mostly over it now, but I know I will never be emotionally capable of being with anyone ever again. I just accept that, for some of us, we are meant to be single, old, smart asses later in life, where we can spoil our friends and family's children, and get them jacked up on sugar, before sending them home. I'm so sorry for your loss. I finally left him after he hit the dog. Years of hitting me both physically and emotionally were ignored, but the moment I heard my dog yipe, I smartened up. I'm glad you and your pup are safe now. I got sober and recognized some things that helped me realize I didn't want to marry that person. Still sober and happily married to the love of my life. I'm sober now and he never wanted to be. He's married now and turns out I never wanted to be. He refused to get a job after 5 years together, and I realized I would be paying for everything on my measly teacher salary. Was able to buy my own condo a month after breaking it off. I had a friend who was engaged. One day, she had a fight with her fiancé and drove from his house mad. On her way home, she ended up in a bad car accident. She tried to call him several times. Wouldn't pick up. Her family tried. Nothing. Her friends tried. Nothing. His friends tried. Nothing. His family tried. Nothing. Dude was quite serious about giving her the silent treatment. Needless to say, she didn't think he handled that well and broke it off. Edit, I should add that after he found out what had happened, he just kind of went oh okay instead of apologizing or asking if she was alright. It wasn't just that he went to bed or something at the wrong time. Man, I blow off phone calls left and right, but when you get 3 straight calls from people who know each other, then you should start to realize something up. I found my self-esteem, realized he wasn't worth my time and ended it. He was a pathological liar in harmless sort of ways I guess, but used to fake seizures and do crazy shit for attention. Pure madness. Deleted. Christopher, is that you? She had this really annoying habit of fucking other men behind my back. So up here annoying. Got sick and then disabled after 2 brain surgeries. I couldn't work and wasn't getting much money from disability. I quickly became a burden according to her. I moved out and then back home with my folks. I had to leave all my friends behind as well as I moved out of state. It was good timing though for me to help my parents as they were old and sick. I became my folks' full-time caretaker and have no clue what my ex is doing. I have no ill will towards my ex and understand why we had to part ways. You are a good man. First one got killed by a drunk driver, second one cheated on me repeatedly. It's left me traumatized and I'm afraid to ever get engaged again. I finally saw him for the abusive piece of shit he was. Broke up Christmas Eve. Best gift I ever got myself, my fucking freedom. He started hanging out with the people from work and he decided to start using. So, I left. I broke up with him 2 months before our wedding. He was abusive to me, a narcissist, he just didn't value me. I felt that I had given so much in that relationship with nothing in return. I wasn't perfect however, I lashed out and became someone I am not due to the abuse I was enduring. I just wanted to die. I was depressed 24/7 and felt alone and he had isolated me from friends and family. I got the strength to leave after a trip visiting my family without him and realized how happy I was alone than when I was with him. When I got back I broke up with him. I had also found out he had cheated on me. When I confronted the cheating part he put his hands on me causing me to have neck and back injuries. It was one of the most traumatic relationships I had ever been in. I absolutely thank myself every day for the strength I had to leave. The first half of your story, up until he put his hands on you, sounds exactly like mine. I suspect he might have cheated, but I never found out. I ran like hell and stayed with my sister for a few years while I got my nursing degree. Lord only knows he's either homeless, imprisoned, or dead. I'm sorry for the abuse he put you through, but I'm glad you had the strength to leave. Many don't, only to get divorced after 3 kids. I found out a week after he proposed that he was married to another person the whole time. She cheated. I have been engaged twice. Different women. Both cheated on me. She cheated and eventually chose him instead. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Went back to school, got a career, and met a wonderful person to spend my life with. I proposed. She said yes. Then she said that she had cheated on me. Fuck you, Erin. We just never got married. He referenced our 2-year engagement the other day. It's been 6 years. House renovations can be distracting. This was almost my husband and me. We got engaged 6 months into our relationship when I was 19 and he was 23, but we were still in school. I was a freshman and he was in grad school. I wanted to wait until we finished school, but then I went to law school after undergrad, then we moved to be closer to my family when I started working. We had been looking to buy a house and realized that we were just rolling along and married, even though we were about to enter a major financial obligation together. We talked and realized that we were almost ready to have kids, and wanted to be married before I got pregnant. So we planned and put together a wedding in about 4 months. It was held in our new house and backyard on our 8th dating anniversary. We just celebrated 18 years married, and 26 years together, last month. She came home one day and said, "I no longer love you." This was 15 days before my birthday. She moves out and come to find out she is developing feelings for her coworker. We meet up for lunch the day or 2 days after my birthday and she tells me all these wild sex experiences she's having with this coworker of hers. I enter a depressed state for 2 months, but it's all better now. I'm better now than I ever could have imagined and I'm so thankful to be out of the toxic relationship and free from the heartbreak. Living life and traveling the world and happy all on my own. Jesus Christ. You're a better man than me for handling that like a champ. I had a girl I loved very much call me randomly while she was getting dicked down and it absolutely destroyed me. Relationships can be dark. Stay strong, friend. He died. I procrastinated on both our lives, spending more time convincing myself I'll get there without actually getting there. I regret wasting her time. As the GF going through this, do you think that you do have the will to get there, or are you able to realize now that it was never in the cards for you? I don't want to waste more of my time, but my BF gives me the same speech every time about knowing that he's the person that can get his shit together and that he's serious this time. I believe he wants to, but I can't take his word anymore. I learned he was excessively controlling, that I'd never be able to live my life, that he was emotionally manipulative and abusive, and after several months of anxiety and disordered eating finally broke it off with a lot of support. Thankfully, due to our situation, he was unable to physically reach me at the time, my second attempt to break it off. He was a sociopath and I figured it out in time. The day we were moving in together, he was pissed at me for a little thing. I'd stayed up late with friends and he thought I'd be tired. I wasn't. He wasn't speaking to me and I realized I couldn't do that dynamic for the rest of my life. He was very controlling and emotionally manipulative. He got mad at me for wanting to order dessert on my birthday because I needed to work on my weight. He threw a chair across the room when he thought I was flirting with his roommate. It took him a while to accept we were done, but about a month after we broke up he took a job in Antarctica. I live in Canada, so it's pretty much the farthest he could go to get away from me. He left me the day after I sent out my first grad school application. Cause I wouldn't give up on my idea of going to grad school and having a career, and he wanted me to be a housewife. And he was possibly cheating on me with someone he hung out with that weekend before he dumped me, who he officially started dating 2 weeks later, after she simultaneously dumped her ex-fiancé. But never confirmed if he was cheating on me or just had a super fast rebound. We had been dating for 4 years, engaged for about 6 months, and had already planned the whole wedding and put down deposits, and my parents lost a lot of money they had put down. This happened almost exactly 20 years ago. They got married a year later and she was a housewife with no kids last I heard several years back. They are child free as far as I know. I got married to someone else like 6 years later and now have 2 kids with my awesome stay-at-home husband. Also, I got into an Ivy League PhD program, got a PhD, and now am a tenured full professor. I am currently flying to a meeting for a national academic organization I am the head of, while my husband stays home and takes care of the kids.